Takuya Okamoto, a producer for Gundam the Witch from Mercury, said so himself that the youth of today does not like Gundam. Kids these days want to have fun, with their watch lists usually filled with rom-coms, action, and sadly, isekai. And I guess the occasional hentai. And Gundam might be a little too serious for them. So what does Bandai do? Make a new Gundam series, but mix the formula up a little bit. They want modern teenagers to watch this, so the show takes place at school to make it relatable. For even more relatability, let's put in some toxic Asian-style gaslighting parenting to the mix. And let's make the tragic events not happen too often, but just at the right places to deliver maximum shock. And voila, we have Gundam the Witch from Mercury. Oh, and if you find my content informative or entertaining, please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. So going back to Okamoto, he did say teenagers claim they don't watch Gundam. Before G-Witch aired, I made a video analyzing the show's potential to revive mecha's popularity, but the video's original title did receive a lot of violent feedback from angry mecha fans and man-children who live in their own heads and don't know how to consider other people's opinions. While I am a mecha fan myself, I made that video in consideration of the opposite side as well. I don't really think mecha is a dead genre, but I wanted to make a video that gave the benefit of the doubt to those who do. Mecha dying does seem to be a popular opinion. I decided to do that because I believe that was the best way to deliver a proper and solid argument, to consider both sides. In the end, I changed that video's title to make things less triggery, and I guess the new title is also more accurate. Admittedly, the original title may have been a bit too much, and I eventually realized that the Gundam and mecha fandoms aren't exactly the same thing. Heck, I might actually have to rename it again. I mean, yeah, that title was a little bit of a mistake, but they didn't really have to act like angry man children. Anyway, enough of that. Let's focus on how G-Witch revived Gundam's popularity. Gundam and mecha are not really dead, but may need new fans to go on for many more decades or centuries, if that's what Bandai wants. Existing Gundam fans are mostly quite old. I'm pretty sure most of us are in our late 20s or 30s or maybe even 40s or 50s, and for how long can we continue to keep Gundam alive? If Bandai wants to keep Gundam and I guess mecha alive, they're gonna have to keep making new fans as continuously as possible. And so far, it looks like it's working. The Witch from Mercury has attracted quite a lot of new fans from this modern generation. But what do the older fans think about it? Well, I personally like G-Witch, but I do get why older fans don't like it. I actually enjoy how different G-Witch is compared to previous Gundam shows, but I don't really think I'd enjoy G-Witch if I viewed it with the same lens I used for past Gundams. As a longtime Gundam fan, I had to watch The Witch from Mercury with very different expectations. I can't just go in and like it for the same way that I liked its predecessors. While a lot of older Gundam fans like me like G-Witch, enjoyed G-Witch even, a lot of the boomers don't like it. Let's take this Facebook post from Waylander for example. If you don't know Waylander, he's a very popular Gunpla modeler. He is absolutely skilled in his craft, but like other boomers, he doesn't like change. If you read his post, you'll know that he's someone who comes in with a lot of expectations and he wants his expectations to be met, and I noticed that's a very boomer behavior, which, yeah, I get that. I'm like that too sometimes. I noticed a lot of boomers want main characters who are the hero type, you know, or the badass type. While Suletta does have her heroic moments, I don't really think they define what her character truly is. I think the more interesting and defining parts of her character are those that make her look like a victim. And I think a good example of the victim type of main character is Shinji from Evangelion. While I'm sure a lot of people don't enjoy seeing this kind of character as the main character on screen, I think this is what defines Suletta, what makes her unique, what makes her stand out from other Gundam characters. And it's on a very interesting level because you can see how mentally odd she is. Like I said a while ago, Bandai is mixing the formula up a bit here, and I think it's interesting to have a main character who's more of a victim than a hero. And the way they're using Niorina's character is, well, to make up for Suletta's lack of a strong and solid personality. I guess the most unique main character before before Soletta was Alfred from War in the Pocket. Like Soletta, he was also more of a victim type of main character, but in a more realistic sense, while Soletta is in a more exaggerated but interesting sense. Also, I think introducing a female main character was a good move in terms of generating interest and attracting new audiences. I mean, it's something that's never really been done before. Now, if you guys are wondering if I like Soletta's character, well, here's the thing. I think she's a good character, but I do find her annoying sometimes. While I do like the more victimized side of her character, I really don't like how she gets all heroic and mighty only when it's convenient for her. And it's such a weird contrast at times when she'd act like a pussy. But hey, in the new season, she might have a little bit more balls. Hopefully not in a literal sense. Now let's talk about G-Witch's uniqueness in terms of its content. It incorporates elements of other anime genres including slice of life and school drama. It still embodies Gundam's tragic and I guess political themes, but handles the placement of events differently to deliver greater shock value. Not as there was quite a big gap between the tragic events that took place in the show, and Soletta's murderous transformation took place at the end of the first season. In other Gundam shows, this would have happened a lot earlier, but I actually like the way G-Witch did this. Putting the murderous transformation at the end of the first season made the event feel more special, more impactful. As producer Okamoto mentioned, the characters were intentionally made as individuals who weren't immediately affected by war and conflict and political interest, so that younger viewers would be able to relate more. The most character-changing tragic event happened later in the show, when it's already safe to assume that the viewers have established a connection with the characters. Alright, now let's compare G-Witch to the last actual alternate timeline Gundam, which is Iron-Blooded Orphans. Okay, so I'm not saying that all IBO fans are weirdos, some of them are actually really nice people. But I observed a big change in the Gundam community when IBO entered the picture. There were more edgelords, more assholes, more weirdos, people proclaiming Barbatos is the strongest mobile suit ever, people invading live streams of other Gundam shows just to say they want more IBO. So, in comparison to this, how has G-Witch changed the community? G-Witch did attract a lot of weirdos. I don't want to go too deep into that, but you know what I'm talking about. However, I think the wider general crowd that G-Witch attracted isn't so bad. I feel it's at least not as toxic as what IBO brought to the Gundam community. But of course, it's always best to just enjoy what you like without being affected by community toxicity, right? And now let's talk about that one true factor that made Gundam the Witch from Mercury a success: Yoasobi. Yoasobi's popularity has spanned not just Japan, but the globe. And yeah, their music is kind of the definition of what a lot of kids these days listen to. Personally, I think a lot of their songs sound like the same thing. You know, they have a very repetitive style, but I get why people like their music. I mean, they have this weird charm and power that will just make you shake your hips and just dance all the way, despite how edgy the song really is. And yeah, I guess that's what the youth of today like. They like things that look fun on the outside, but are actually edgy on the inside. Kinda like Gundam Witch, right? And on top of that, I think the Gundam plastic models, or Gunplas for G-Witch, were actually designed to welcome new builders. So far, I've built 3 of them, and I think they're actually very beginner friendly. And despite that, they're still very amazing kits in terms of performance. I'm not gonna say they're the best kits ever, but this is a phenomenal level of engineering. They're easy to build, but they're still very interesting. And they feel very solid, you know, very sturdy, very stable. They don't feel flimsy like those IBO kits. So yeah, I really think that Gunpla had a big part to play in terms of G-Witch's success. I wouldn't be surprised if there were people who just got into G-Witch because of the kits and the mecha designs. I mean, these are great kits and the mecha designs are very diverse. I think that there's at least one thing for you in here. We got cute stuff, cool stuff, chubby stuff, sexy stuff, edgy stuff. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that G-Witch has almost everything in terms of mecha preference. Alright, so to conclude this video, video, here's what I have to say. I think G-Witch is doing its job of attracting new fans, but I wouldn't say it's fully satisfying the existing fan base. Either way, I still think it's a good show. Can I call it a solid Gundam experience? I'm not sure about that. We're probably gonna have to wait for the whole show to finish before I make that conclusion. And some of you are wondering, is it a good show to start Gundam? That's a question for another video. That's it for now. You all have a great day.